welcome back. Our second segment is almost as mostly important as the first one. Of course, the first one we talked about climate change in detail. Even we couldn't have enough time to elaborate more. But our second segment, of course, is equally important, if it's not more important, because it's about inventions, it's about sparking ideas, it's about inspirations from our new generations, our youth, to be able to sustain development, to be able to help the handicapped, to be able to inspire the whole citizens with new ideas and help Egyptian community. A robot that supports people and special needs facilitate their movement throughout the streets of Cairo and all over Egypt by 5 engineering students. They won the first place prize as student mechanism and robot design competition in the United States. And that achievement made them the only Egyptian team nominated for the competition in 10 years. And of course, I was really amazed by the idea. Before we go on air, they thought of a robot that acts like a guide dog. Probably, I could imagine, they're going to elaborate more, for blind people, like the Labrador dog and the Golden Retriever, who guide the blind people all over the streets. Not because our streets are not capable of, but all over Europe and the United States, we could see that guide dog for blind people. We're going to find more from those young people who are with us live here in the studio. We have with us Mariam, Ahmed, and Faras, Mohab, and they're going to talk about their little invention. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, and let me start with you, Mariam. Just tell us more about your invention.
It was a design competition in the United States. The whole focus was on the design itself. So the idea that we're mimicking the emotion of the animal, the dog, is the new thing about it. We thought, at first, we thought of doing something that can help people with wheelchairs to go up the stairs, and then we couldn't make the robot climb the stairs, so we changed it to a more general form, which is just a walking dog that can do multiple things, like guiding a blind person or a disabled person, or even go on scout missions in the forest, and that's it.
Faras, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me just take it from scratch. How did the idea spark to you? So you were watching someone, you were in Europe or you were somewhere and you saw the guide dogs, or you felt you have a friend who really friends weren't able to transport or take their routes in your country, or you explain to us, how did the idea spark to you?
Okay, I'll start from the very beginning. It was a class in which we had to design a mechanism for the class to get A or something, and it wasn't my idea at first. It was Mustafa, Sarah, and Muhammad Sami, our teammates' idea. It was their course project. And they started with a dog that can climb stairs to help handicapped people. And when the class ended and the semester was ended, we decided to continue or develop the project even more to make it climb stairs, but we couldn't, as Mariam said. So we decided to make it walk and help disabled people to some form of a guide dog, as you mentioned. So yeah, it was. We had to make amendments to the project or to the design. So we changed the design from the climbing stairs dog to the walking mimicking mechanism, or the dog that can walk and guide people, handicapped people. So that was pretty much it. It was designed for a class, and then we used the design again for the competition. We've developed it even further, so yeah.
Definitely, this is something great, not only as an invention, but it's the teamwork. It's sitting together to do something like this. Definitely, it makes a great difference. I want you to tell me about the steps. How did you sit? How did you work together? How did you feel about this? And how did you feel after?
We started in summer. Right after the semester ended, one of us was taking a semester abroad, so we started as a FaceTime call, and we decided that we want to join this competition because our Dr. Mustafa Arfa, told us it's a nice competition and it's relevant to what we did in the course. So we decided, then let's do it. We're free in the summer.
It was the first activity or invention to be done for you, right? To all of you, or you have more projects that
we
you have
made
done?
projects before throughout where
But not like this?
No, not like an international competition scale project, no. Yeah, then we spent like a month or a month and a half redesigning and redoing the prototype, and the competition wanted a video at first, the first stage, and then when we sent them the video, they replied like 2 or 3 weeks later that we are finalists, and we had to make redesigns again and make the process more efficient to be able to compete in an international scale.
Faris, I'm really impressed because you were doing that during summertime. So vacation doesn't mean anything to people like you with your minds. It's what you're thinking to achieve. But I want you to talk to us about this prototype, the idea itself. How does it move? Do you have any photos? How does it look like? How it's going to motivate people to move? How it's going to be moving? And is it safe to move over bumpy roads? And when could it be ready to be executed, this project? Talk to us.
Okay, so we decided to make the design from wood, and it was
Wood?
this big. Yes, it was this big, and it was made from wood, and it has 4 legs, of course. The 4 legs would help it to move on bumpy roads, as you mentioned, because 3 of the legs are on the ground, unlike wheels or something, which has to tilt this way or this way in order to maintain its balance.
With a sensor.
Yes, it has. It should be developed further with sensors and feedback in order to make it usable, and it could be replicated in larger sizes. It's this big, so it's a prototype. It's not for the final development stage, or it should be developed further in order to be developed as an industrial thing. So it was made of wood. It was to showcase our design and the innovation behind it. So this was it. It was made of wood, and
What are you going to do next? I mean, how are we going to take benefit of this?
I think it needs definitely wood won't be the final material. It's just a prototype because it was a mechanical
It needs
design.
to be sponsored by someone,
yeah,
or taken
sure.
to work more on it, and maybe the team, you can join and work on this. Did you try any of these?
Yeah, we started right before the competition. We started our new semester, so we're still figuring out and thinking.
This is your last year, right?
No, next year is like
Next
we
year,
still
okay.
have. Yeah.
Right, it's really amazing, but like Nashwa said, the second step, of course, someone has to sponsor you. It has to be to the use or affordable
I think
by
we can
all.
see some pictures, right? Is this a picture of?
Right,
Yes.
Of
there
the
we
doll,
go.
yeah.
I was asking you about pictures, but the idea of setting it to be affordable to the hand of every a bracket of society, because some of, or are you going to find someone to be able to sponsor you so that you could be able to give it free to people in need for it? I mean, how is it going to work? Have it ever crossed your mind? How are you going to
yes, definitely. I believe
orchestrate that?
Yeah, I believe the materials or the manufacturing
See,
of.
I mean, without interfering, it's pretty big.
Yes, it's this big. It's this big.
The
and
device,
this high.
yes.
Yeah. So the manufacturing of such a device could be fairly cheap. It could be made of, I don't know, some kind of stainless steel or something. It could be fairly cheap for people to buy it. It might be as expensive as the wheelchair. So people, instead of buying a normal wheelchair, they might buy something like this. Which could have a chair equipped over it so that they can ride it or something, or use it as a guide dog again. So yeah, it could be manufactured in a fairly good price.
You know, I want to ask you about something. How do you use your time? I mean, this is something important, really. What I mean by asking this, that I wish to see all the youth like you. It's
Sure.
not about going out or going to parties, and I want to see youth using their minds and reading and understanding what's going on. It's not about fun. Life nowadays is not about fun anymore. We have many challenges. If we're going to spend our time in luxury and going out, we will never be able to confront our challenges. So tell me about you yourself. How are you able to take your time, to use your time in something beneficiary to humanity? And you're studying, as you mentioned, and you're studying mechanical engineering. So you have another challenge.
Yes.
In 1 minute, both of you.
Okay, so the thing is that we already like the engineering projects and the stuff, so we don't mind working on something like this. So using our friend, yeah, we're already friends, so hanging out with our friend, we can hang out after working for some time. And we did both. It was summer after all, so we had to hang out for some time together because we're friends.
That's how they enjoy their summer. This is how they were made.
God bless you, of course, both of you and all your colleagues.
Thank you so much, guys. You're really bright to us. Of course, Mariam, Ahmed, and Faras, Mohab, you are the future scientists. Thank you very much for coming over to the breakfast show. And I guess this brings us to the end of this edition of this Friday morning show. I was in the company of my dear colleague Nashwa Rashid, and my name is Tina Hussein. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time, and we'll see you again tomorrow.